Heads up, campers, it's Creekwater Cody coming at you with a video on emergency preparedness planning. One of my favorite sayings has always been, don't wait till it's raining to start building your ark. You need to be, or at least in my eyes, we need to be prepared for the unforeseen, the emergency situations, anything from natural disasters, power outages, sicknesses, insurrection, invasion, zombies, whatever the SHTF scenario might be, the emergency situation. And we all know, FEMA and the government recommend 3-day kit as far as food, non-perishables, water, flashlights, radios, stuff like that. And that is the key to, you got to start with yourself. If you're not prepared to take care of yourself, you're not going to be much help to anyone. When it comes to a preparedness group, most of us have a built-in prepper group, whether they prep or not, which is our families. We've all got somebody that we love, we want to take care of, and make sure they get through some emergency situation unscathed. Excuse me. They're also in a prepper group. You might want to include some friends. I've got an example for you, actually, in the shadow of this coronavirus thing. Nobody's locking down just yet, not as of shooting this video anyway. But it just got me and the family doing some preparedness. Plotting it out, communicating with one another, keeping everybody apprised of what's going on, which is key. When you have a group, communication is the key. But I actually invited two new people into my prepper group. They're really not preppers, but these people are. Like I said, it's a young couple that I know, that I'm good friends with, but they're Christians, they're patriotic, they're gun owners, they're healthy, they're in good shape, they're good friends of mine. I've known them a long time. Like I said, I knew that they weren't really, in the preparedness mindset. They're not really the prepper type. So, in the shadow of this, if we do face some kind of quarantine, I got with them as far as, what we need to do. Because not only bringing them in for their sake, but also for mine. It's good for Tano to have a Lone Ranger. It's good for Batman to have a Robin, somebody to watch your back. So, in that sense, you need to think about who you're bringing into your prepper group. Y'all might have caught a recent video on the zombie metaphor. Unfortunately, one thing I didn't mention is in those zombie movies, someone always gets bit and turns into a zombie. Some buddy of yours, some friend, some family member. And unfortunately, we all know people that are going to be more of an anchor than a life raft when it comes to a survival scenario. And in a real, SHTF, you're probably going to have to cut loose them anchors, unfortunately. That's why, when I was thinking about who to invite into the group for the purposes of me having somebody around, like I said, to help watch my back and hold the fort down. I kind of analyzed the people I knew, and most of the folks that I know that are preppers, they have separate bug-in plans. So I called up somebody new to the plate. But just an example, you want to weigh in what skills do they have, like the guy's auto mechanic. So there you go, that's a skill set that's very useful. Once you've got your group together, like I said, you want to be able to communicate. Communicate beforehand, of course. You need to come up with plans. Hopefully that's why you're watching this video. You're trying to come up with an emergency preparedness plan. That is the plot of this video. So have your plans, make them known to the members of your prepper group, your friends, your family. And also have a plan to communicate when things go bad. Everybody nowadays pretty much has a cell phone. They're ubiquitous. But I remember there was an earthquake here in Virginia in Mineral years ago, and I was actually working downtown renovating a building when it happened, and everybody poured out of the buildings downtown onto Broad Street, masses of people, and everyone reached for their phones and tried to make a call, and no one could because everybody was using it. They recommend that you send text messages in the event of emergency. That goes down, or backup plan for that be ham radios, shortwave, that sort of thing. CB radios, two ways. some form of communication plan to keep in touch with your group. Then it comes to, is it a bug in scenario or bug out scenario? Is it something where you can no longer occupy your home and you have to get out? You need to go to the next spot. Hopefully you have, rally points. That would be my next one. When it's bug in or bug out. Are you going to bug in like the scenario I said? This young couple, they know that if there is an announcement of quarantine, that's the time for them to load up and get here before, the lockdown begins. If it's a bug out scenario, where are you going? Where's your rally point? You should always have multiple points to meet in case of a natural disaster or chemical or something like that. Anything really, one of your rally points may be inaccessible. So have multiple points. And I always end mine personally with a far bug out point. Something, I bug out to a certain, home, family member's home, whatever it is. It's rural, but beyond that, I do know multiple tucked away mountain campsites and whatnot, and I've got a few in mind. And people in the group need to have, maps and knowledge of where these places are and keep in communication. But I tried to touch on all the questions of the emergency prepper plan. We have the who, that's who's in your group, the friends and family that are part of your preparedness group that are in on the plan. The why, the what's going down, what is this event, natural disaster, whatever it might be. The when do we bug in, when do we bug out, and where to determine that. I recommend that you bug in as long as it's, safe to be there and whatnot. That was one thing with the me asking the couple to join the prepper group. This is a virus type scenario. I'm not fear-mongering or anything. I'm just being logical here. But if there was a quarantine scenario, they live in a suburban area that's very densely populated, and I live in a very rural area. So bringing them out here is going to drop their chances of infection. Just an example. But, bug in scenario, or do we all need to jet out? Where to meet up, where are we going, how are we getting there? And of course, having the supplies, the skills to get you there. So that's the who, the why, the when, the where, and the how of emergency preparedness planning. I hope this helped y'all out. Think about the future. Fortune definitely favors the prepared. Like I said at the beginning, don't wait till it's raining to start building your ark. Y'all drop down in the comments below. Tell me what you think. Click that little thumbs up for me. If you ain't done it yet, subscribe. Follow the adventures. I'm trying to drop a video a week. Channel's been doing pretty good. I appreciate the support. Till I catch y'all out there on the trail, y'all stay prepared and God bless you. I'm Creekwater Cody.